verse? Which do you recommend? Okay. Let's go to chapter 10, text number beginning of 8, 10, 8. Chapter 10, text number 8. That's 5 and 3. Okay, we're going to sing. Good. Jaya Madhava, Jaya Kunjabihari. Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunjabihari. Gopijana Balava, Jaya Girivardhari, Jaya Girivardhari. Gopijana Balava, Jaya Girivardhari, Jaya Girivardhari. Nanda. The ladies again get pushed to the back. They could do it this way. I'm not going to change it now. But for no reason they couldn't. Gopijana Balava, Jaya Girivardhari, Jaya Girivardhari. What are you? A permanent resident? We're all visitors. Yashoda Nandana, Jaya Brajajana Ranjana, Jaya Brajajana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana, Jaya Brajajana Ranjana, Jaya Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Chiravadachari Jaya Kunjabihari Jaya Yamuna Chiravadachari Jaya Kunjabihari Jaya Jaya Ravi Hari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Where's the permanent resident guy? He won't come.
He's serving prasadam there for the
This is not the time to take the shadow. Hey, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Krishna, Haribo. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey! Haribo! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Woo! Go for it, man. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Omagyanatimirandasya, Janagana Salakayam, Taksusmiritam Jena, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Shri Chaitanya Manovistam, Apitam Jena Bhutale, Vayam Rupa Karamaya, Datisha Padantikam, Vandeho, Sita Advaitam Sarvarutram Krishna Sahitam Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karana Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishavanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Taruvasya Vipa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare. We're reading Srila Bhagavad Gita purports and translation by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Tonight we are going to talk on chapter 10, text 8. Everybody knows English? Huh? All you people know English. See, the British did something good. They left us with their language.
हरे कृष्णा हरे
Hare
कृष्णा
Krishna.
कितने लोगों को इंग्लिश समझ में नहीं आता है वो हाथ खड़े कर सकते हैं हरे
How can I talk over that? Anyway, so there's 4 verses which are considered the nutshell or the very essential verses of Bhagavad Gita. So this is the first one. There's 4 in a row. 10:8, 10:9, 10:10, 10:11. These 4 verses are considered the essence of Bhagavad Gita. We'll read this one. I feel I'm being distracted by the Prashadam service. You can't do anything. It's not the right time to serve Prashadam. I'm sorry, it's not the right time to serve Prashadam. They should be, you can give them a little, this much, okay, on the way out. But to sit down and eat, you're going to talk, you want to talk to your friend, right in the same room?
हरे कृष्णा कोर्टयार्ड में जो भक्त बैठे हैं
What are you going to do
उनसे
with it?
निवेदन है कृपया शांतता बनाए रखिए यहाँ पे प्रवचन चल रहा है हरे कृष्ण तो प्रवचन में भाग लीजिए
Okay, so we'll do word for word. The verse is Aham Savasya Prabhavo Mata Sarva Prapatate Iti Madhva Bhajante Mam Buddhabhava Samadvitaha. The translation, word for word. Aham, I, Savasya, Avo, Abhavaha, the source of generation. Mataha, from me. Sarvam, everything. Pravartate, emanates. Iti, thus. Matva, knowing. Ajante, become devoted. Mam, unto me. Buddhaha, the learned. Bhava Samanvitaha, great attention. Translation and purport. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So, either Krishna is the greatest egotist that ever lived, or he's the supreme person. We have to decide. Because no one else is making this claim that from him everything is coming. Even Lord Jesus said, I sit at the right hand of God. I'm doing the work of the Father. But Krishna says, I am the Father. I am the seed-giving Father for all living entities. From me, everything is coming, material and spiritual. So what is the problem? Why more people don't take the Krishna consciousness? Actually, my travels here in India for the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks we've been here? Huh? 25 days? Oh. Time goes fast when you're having fun. It's been very dynamic for me because wherever we go, we see there's so many people who are becoming serious about Prabhupada's movement and serious about the Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is. And there's plenty of Bhagavad Gitas as they aren't that are out there on the market. So we can get cheated very easily. Therefore, we should come. Here, the proof is this. Bhagavad Gita has been in the Western world for like 400 years. Emerson, Thoreau, they all read it. It's a very good book, everything. But nobody became a devotee of Krishna. Nobody. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Until Prabhupada came. Why? Therefore, we understand that Prabhupada is empowered. He's not ordinary living entity. He's shocked the vase. He's empowered. Who else can do it? One man going to a foreign country, no money, 2 heart attacks, seasickness, and in 10 years he had centers all over the world. How is it possible? He's empowered by it. He wrote a wonderful poem when he came there. He said, uh, I don't know why you sent me here to this place which is so full of passion and ignorance, but you must have some purpose. So if you like, you be the puppet master, and I'll be the puppet. And as you like, make me dance, make me dance, make me dance. Wonderful poem. So that was his mood. He was coming on the order of his spiritual master. I don't have any qualification. He was so humble. He really believed that he didn't have any special qualification. The only qualification, he said, I took the order of my spiritual master as my life and soul. So I was saying, in the last 25 days, I've been traveling to different centers. Pune, I was there for the opening of the Karga Center, wonderful temple they have there. And then we came to help Chopati, yes, and then Pune, then Bangalore. So many centers there in Bangalore. We visit each one. And then yesterday we were in Bhakti Charu's place, Ujjain, beautiful temple. And today we're here. This is Prabhupada's temple, right? He was here. But that's unusual. I mean, Prabhupada ki. So you're very fortunate you have a temple that Prabhupada, you can say, blessed. Did he sat on his Vyasasan? Oh, Prabhupada. This place is really a sacred place. So, the point I'm making is that somehow by good fortune, we've come in contact with the pure devotee, because without him, we won't be able to understand. I would have never become a devotee. I needed his example. We give the example of a child may be taken by wolves. And instead of killing it, they take it as a baby. And then the child grows up. But he remains on 4 legs because he doesn't see an example of anybody walking. So he remains crawling like the other wolves are doing. So the point I'm making is example is very important. So Srila Prabhupada gave us the example, what a pure devotee looks like, how he acts, how he's so humble. So in this way, let me tell a quick story to show how humble Prabhupada. By good fortune, I was given the service of massaging Prabhupada when he came to London. I was a senior brahmachari. This was 1969. So I was giving him a massage, and then first day I gave a massage, I said, Srila Prabhupada, I never gave a massage before. Maybe I should go to the library today and get a book on how to give massage. And Prabhupada says, not necessary. If you read Bhagavad Gita, Krishna will tell you how to give massage. So he had a lot of faith in Krishna. So anyway, the second, after he was there for about a week or so, we had a big open program. Maybe about 300 or 400 people came. And that's a lot because we were just starting the movement there. And about half of them were Hindus. So one of the Hindus, during Prabhupada's lecture, he started interrupting. You're only talking about Krishna. What about Shiva? So Prabhupada explained, they're Vishnu Tattva and Shiva Tattva. And actually, Vishnu Tattva is the origin of, but he wasn't satisfied. So he kept interrupting when Prabhupada started to speak again. And Prabhupada said, sit down, you are nonsense. And we never saw Prabhupada so bold like that. When we were dealing with him, giving him he was always very humble. So then it was a series of lectures. So the next day, he was going to speak again. And I was getting a massage. He took massage 11 in the morning. So I was thinking I'm getting him in shape for another knockout performance. And I was massaging and talking. And like I was thinking, you and me, Prabhupada, we could take over the world. And thinking like that and massaging. And suddenly Prabhupada said, no! Hands froze on his body. Then he said with another voice, like a 7-year-old child, from way in his heart, he said, I am just a humble servant. And I felt so embarrassed. I thought, this person is such an aristocrat. I shouldn't be in the same room with him. What to speak of touching his body. And there was like a throw under the rug. So again, by his example of humility, I became humble. If he just told me, be humble, it's not enough. He has to, Acharya means one who teaches by example. So Prabhupada was always giving us example of what it looks like to be a pure devotee, because he was a pure devotee. It wasn't anything artificial, it wasn't any pretension. He really thought himself a humble servant because he was always remembering his spiritual master and Krishna, and in the relationship between his spiritual master, he was a humble servant. You follow? So there was no false ego, not even a tinge of it. Real ego is there. Yes, I'm a servant of the servant of the servant, but very humble. So this is his example. And it's inspiring because it's very easy to get puffed up. People touch my feet and then you start thinking, hey, I'm pretty good. I must be special. And then bam, you fall down. Pride comes before the fall. I've seen some of my god brothers, many of them. They were big positioned. They become victim mostly of women. Because they allow women to get too close. They think they're invincible. They're pure devotees. So anyway, the point I was making about example. So we're teaching, we're preaching. You're also teaching. You're teaching to your children or somebody you meet in the office. You tell them you're a Hare Krishna. You have to be humble. As soon as you start imagining that you're better than them, then it spoils it. So of course, Prabhupada did take the position of a teacher, and he demanded some respect when he was speaking. That was one thing I learned. When Prabhupada was preaching, if you interfered with it, he didn't like that. Because that was his focus, just like it says here. With one pointed attention, he was focusing on preaching. And what results he got? He came to this Muslim city. No. We have to see everyone as pure spirit soul. So there's a lot of people here. I'm sure everybody is benefiting. I heard you go out regularly and chant and dance. That's the okay. Let's go through Srila Prabhupada's purport. A learned scholar who has studied the Vedas perfectly and has information from authorities like Lord Chaitanya, and who knows how to apply these teachings, can understand that Krishna is the origin of everything in both the material and spiritual world. Because he knows this perfectly, he becomes firmly fixed in devotional service of the Supreme Lord. He can never be deviated by any amount of nonsensical commentaries or by fools. So unfortunately, there are many nonsensical commentaries. Should I name names? This Chinmayananda mission, Ramakrishna mission. These people, they don't give the Bhagavad Gita as it is. They don't say that Krishna is supreme. Rather, they say that you can do whatever you want. It's okay because there's no God and we're all one. That's their bottom line. They give the example of a bubble on the ocean. The bubble breaks, it becomes one with the ocean. And you lose your identity. But that's not what Krishna said. In the second chapter, text 12, he says, you and I and all these kings, we've always existed in the past as individuals. Now we're individuals, right? You're not. In the future, we'll also be individuals. And variety. Variety will be there. It's not going to be all one. Where did the variety come from? I mean, now there's variety, right? You can ask your impersonalist friends, Well, where did this variety come from? It came, even if you accept their argument, there has to be something that made the one into many. What moved it? What was the catalyst that made the one? Because that's what they say. Originally, everything is one, and we're going back to the original state by merging with the Lord. But if everything is one, how did the variety come? There must have been some other energy or feature that caused the one to become many. Because now there's many, you can't deny. There's planets and stars and trees and insects, and there's many. But where did they come from? No, this is not all one. This is a bogus philosophy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given the perfect philosophy. What does he say? Achinta beta beta tattva. Simultaneously one and different. Yeah, nothing is outside of God, so there's a oneness. Just like you say, the government is one. But within that oneness of the government, there's different departments. There's police department, there's welfare department, there's prison department. They're all working under the government. They're not one, they're different. In one department, they're arresting people, putting them in jail. Another department, they're giving food to people. So it's one, but different. But what is so difficult to understand that? God is one, but he expands himself into unlimited variety. So nothing outside of God. That's the oneness. Nothing outside of God. Within that one, this is described, 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Earth, water, air, fire, ether, mind, intelligence. These things are my external energies. Besides that, there's mind. These are my subtle material energies, mind, intelligence, and ego. And besides that, there's the soul. So these things are described very lucidly in the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, we beg you, please, read these books. That was Prabhupada's prayer. Sometimes he was asked, well, how will we go on without you, Srila Prabhupada? He said, I am there in my books. So he's here. Let's read some more. These are his words. Once we were reading in the Srimad Bhagavatam how Narada Muni came to help his disciple, Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva wasn't feeling fully satisfied, even though he had compiled so much literature, Vedic literature. But he hadn't compiled a book that was solely and wholly dedicated to the Lord. So therefore, Narada Muni came and told him he should write Srimad Bhagavatam, which was holy. So on the page, in the purport there, Prabhupada writes, Narada Muni has kindly appeared on the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. He was able to see Narada Muni is there. Similarly, if we are very devoted and undeviating, we can see that Prabhupada is here in his purports. He's here. He can never be deviated by any amount of nonsensical commentary or by fools. All Vedic literatures agree that Krishna is the source of Brahma and Shiva and all other demigods. But there's the point. He's the source of Shiva. Shiva will admit that. He's speaking to Parvati. And Parvati asks him, what is the best form of worship? And he says worship of Vishnu. But then he qualifies it. Even better than worship of Vishnu is what? Huh? Worship of the Vaishnava, the servant of Vishnu. Therefore, we don't jump over. We go to Prabhupada's feet first. We try to find out what he wants. He's the guru, Shiksha guru for everybody for the next 10,000 years. He's your guru. But you still need a Diksha guru to give you spiritual name. In other words, Prabhupada didn't come to stop the parampara. Krishna came to reinstate the parampara. So Prabhupada didn't come to stop it. Parampara can go on, but still, Prabhupada will be in the center for the next 10,000 years. In the Artha Veda, Gopaltapani Upanishad, it is stated, Yo Brahmana Vidati Purvam Yo Vai Vedamscha Gopayati Shma Krishna. It was Krishna who in the beginning instructed Brahma in Vedic knowledge and who disseminated Vedic knowledge in the past. Then again in the Narayana Upanishad 1, it says, Ata Purusho Yavai Narayano Kamayati Vajaya Sri Jayati. Then the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, desired to create living entities. The Upanishad continues. So Narayana, of course, is an expansion of Krishna. It goes on to say, from Narayan, Brahma is born. From Narayan, the patriarchs are also born. From Narayan, Indra is also born. From Narayan, the 8 Vasas are born. From Narayan, the 11 Rudra's are born. From Narayan, the 12 Aditis are born. This Narayan is an expansion of Krishna. So originally, we give the example of candles. You take the original candle, from that original candle, you can light another candle of equal strength, and another candle. But the original is still there, and the original is Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sachitananda Vigraha, Anade Radhe Govind. Very nice, from Brahma Samhita. So Krishna is the original of everything, material and spiritual. In the same Vedas, Brahmano Devaki Putra, the son of Devaki, Krishna, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then again in the Narayana Upanishad, it is stated, in the beginning of the creation, there was only the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan. There was no Brahma, no Shiva, no water, no fire, no moon, no heaven, no earth, and no stars in the sky, no sun. This is from the Maha Upanishad. In the it is also stated there that Lord Shiva was born from the forehead of the Supreme Lord. Thus the Vedas say that it is the Supreme Lord, the creator of Brahma and Shiva, who is to be worshipped. In the Moksha Dharma section, so it goes on like this. So many evidences from very authorized Vedic literatures, coming to the point that Krishna is the source of everything. So why don't we take it and become, like the verse is indicating, become one-pointed in our devotion. This is required. Who knows that verse? 241. Very good. Translation in English? Translation is the devotee is fixed in one point at the lotus feet of the Lord. But those who are irresolute in purpose, their intelligence is many branched. They're in here, they're there, they're thinking of this, they're thinking. But the devotee is only thinking how to please Krishna. And he's accepting everything favorable for his devotional service and rejecting everything unfavorable. It still doesn't mean you have to shave your head and move in the temple. You can remain in your position. Arjuna was a grihasta. Krishna never told him he should take sannyas. So remain in your position, but add this Krishna consciousness and use some of your resources in assisting Srila Prabhupada in his mission. Talk to others about Krishna and Srila Prabhupada's mission. In this way, you keep a little altar in your room, in your house, somewhere. Offer your food to Krishna. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Very good. So in this way, we can become devotees without changing our position. Of course, we have to change our consciousness because we're all born in the false ego. False ego means I should be in the center. You notice in our children, they're not really saintly, right? They love themselves the most. They don't care if they disturb 100 people on a plane. If they're upset, they're going to scream. So this is what we're all born like that. We have to be civilized. Mother is the first guru. She tells the older brother, no, you can't hit your brother. And this is the reality. We're born in a sinful condition. Therefore, we're not okay. We need to go to Guru. We need help. That we should admit, if we're honest, that we need help. But the tendency is, probably give the example, a man is dying, he's being fed through the veins, someone is cleaning his stool and urine. But if you ask him, how are you? I'm okay. This is called Maya. You're not okay. You need help. We're not meant to grow old, become diseased, and die. This is the symptom of our disease, that we're accepting this body as the self. So the first teaching, we're not this body, we never die. The body is changing, but we remain. And then we get another body, or we can get a spiritual body. If we're thinking of Krishna, then we go to the spiritual world. To go to the spiritual world, we have to have a spiritual body. So Krishna will give us a spiritual body, if we qualify. But if we're attached to the material world, then we have to come back. Because attachment is like a prayer. Oh, I wish I'd have that car, or that job, or that wife. So we have those kind of desires in our heart. At the time of death, we get another family. Generally, the attachment is to the family. That was Arjuna's Maya also. How can I fight my relatives? But what did Krishna say? Kutas. Where have these impurities come upon you? This is not the proper mentality for one who knows the purpose of life. So we should know, what is the purpose of life? Atata Brahma Jikyasa. What is the purpose? The purpose is to qualify to go back to the spiritual world. That's the whole purpose of the creation. They're giving us a chance to qualify to again enter the spiritual world. Any questions on that point alone? Sometimes people wonder, well, why are we here? What did we do? Yeah. We wanted to put ourselves in the center. But in the spiritual world, only one person's in the center. Isha Vasham. God is in the center. But we want to be in the, okay, you want to imagine you're in the center, come to the material world. Then you can imagine that you're in the center. The Chala is imagining. He's imagining he's in the center. Hitler was imagining. And we were all guilty of it to one degree or other. That because of false ego. So we have to, therefore the Buddhists and the impersonal, they say, yes, we have to kill the ego, become zero, or become everything one. But no, if there's a false ego, why not a real ego? Why not? It's like just like my hand has 5 digitals. So the shadow also has 5. The material world is like a reflection or a shadow of the spiritual world. So there's variety here, there's individuality, but in a perverted sense, it doesn't last. We're meant to have eternal life full of knowledge and bliss. That's a fact. That's our rightful position. Satchitananda. But we won't find it here in this material world. So therefore, we have to give up family in the spiritual world. I have some disciples, so I tell them that. Prabhupada told us that we can have Iskcon in the spiritual world. We can, again, meet, but there without the impurities. Okay, I could go on a little bit. We've written one book about about my experiences with Srila Prabhupada. I had a lot of experience. But if I can tell you a few stories, maybe rather than try to sell the book right now. Leave it. Okay, leave it. Just describe it. So let me tell you a story. I just told you one story, how Prabhupada was so humble that he didn't want me to glorify him like in a material way. That was a temptation that Christ also had. Some of his followers wanted him to control the world, to be like a Napoleon or something like that. But Prabhupada didn't want that, no. No, we shouldn't think that either, because what we're really doing, even if we have disciples and followers and so on, what we're really doing is connecting with the super soul in their heart. And therefore, the super soul will tell them, this person is representing me, so you should follow him. See? It's different than saying, I'm the guru. I'm not the guru. I'm not the big leader. But Krishna is the leader, and he's in your heart, and he's telling you that I'm giving Krishna. We can say, yes, we're giving Krishna. Prabhupada was giving Krishna. And we can also give Krishna according to our capacity. But it doesn't mean that we're big, important people. Prabhupada gives the example of the post peon. He's delivering a check, or money or something, 50,000 rupees, but He's not taking credit for that. So we're just delivering. And Krishna says, one who does deliver the message as it is very dear to me. And no one is more dear to me. We can find this. Chapter 18. You have a book? Who's going to look it up? Chapter 18. Text number 68 and 69. You can read those two verses. You need a microphone? Does you have a mic? Whoever gets it first. You found it? No. Huh? Yeah. You have the translation? Then speak.
18.68.
No. Chapter 18, text 68.
For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me.
Next verse.
There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear.
One more dear than one who explains this subject. So it's easy. We can all do it. Do it to your friends. Do it to whoever. Explain the subject of Bhagavad Gita in a proper way, and Krishna will be very pleased with you. He says, no one is more dear to me than he. Therefore, we glorify, because no one did the work that Prabhupada did. No one could do what he did. So therefore, we want to make him the most famous person in the world. The people, when you say, that sometimes I have that experience. I was coming through customs, Indian boy, and I was, he knew I was a Hare Krishna. I was just as devotee, and he said, he mentioned Prabhupada's name. I said, oh, you know about Prabhupada? He said, yeah, he was very wise. So this is just a guy working in the airport. He knew something about Prabhupada. So we want everybody to know Prabhupada was really extraordinary. Let's put him in the center. Krishna will be happy with us too. Krishna will be happy because he wants to glorify Prabhupada. So if we assist him in glorifying Prabhupada, he'll be very pleased with us. Just like he says, no one is more dear to me than one who explains it. Okay? Any other? There's no questions, huh? That's all right, if you don't have to have a question. Sometimes it's better not to have a question, because a question means a doubt. But if you don't have any doubts, then go ahead, you have a question.
Maharaj, you are
Speak loudly.
Hare Krishna. So you were telling that how in this material world everyone wants to be in the center of their life and center of the world. That's why they have come from spiritual world to material world, because they wanted to have that experience that I want to enjoy. Actually, as devotees, we hear so many times that Krishna is the center of our lives, but still sometimes
Yes,
that
because
desire
that's not unreasonable, because this is Maya's kingdom. Once when Prabhupada came to London, one of the ladies there, she spoke in a very emotional, Srila Prabhupada, you're so wonderful. You want to save the whole world. And Prabhupada responded very soberly. He said, yes, but not an easy job. This is Maya's kingdom. The default position is Maya. Sometimes devotees said, Prabhupada, I don't want to go out, because when I go out, I see women out there and it's summertime, they're not dressed, and I fall in Maya. Prabhupada said, you're always in Maya. Sometimes you fall in Krishna. This is Maya's kingdom. So sometimes, yeah, we're going to go back to our old way of thinking, but just continue. Don't become discouraged. Persevere. Don't ever stop chanting, whatever you do. Keep the chanting going, and gradually Maya will lose its grip, because Paramjistanavartate, you get a higher taste. It's like Kirtan. For me, it's easy to get a higher taste. Chant and dance and taking prasadam, higher taste. Talking about Srila Prabhupada and remembering Srila Prabhupada. He was such an extraordinary person. So it's inspiring for me to remember him and talk about him. That's what I was going to do again. I was going to tell another wonderful story how Prabhupada reciprocated with us. Should I tell? So we were, as I mentioned, we were in London and we were staying at John Lennon's estate. And John was called Tittenhurst Court. It must still be there in outside of London. And he had one driver who didn't do any other service except drive the car. So Prabhupada asked me, that driver, that's all he does? Because he only worked like 10 minutes a day. But John wanted him, so whenever he wanted him, the driver was there. So when Prabhupada said, understood that, he said, that is a sign of a rich man. He can keep somebody just all day, just ready in case he needs them. And then I got a little enthusiastic about John's wealth. I said, yes, Prabhupada, he's really wealthy. When I said that, Prabhupada looked at me like I had a bad smell. And he made a face. And he said, what is the use of his money? He doesn't know how to spend it. And that's a fact. These big richest people, they don't know how to spend it. They spend it for welfare work or something, but that won't get you out of the material world. So anyway, and the story I was coming to was, I was doing this massage every day, and I got attached to it, and I was asking Prabhupada, when you go back to America, can I come with you and do this service of giving massage? And Prabhupada was non-committal. He said, let us see what Krishna wants. And so the time was coming close to his leaving. He was there 3 months, and he was like a week left, and his servant came to me, Prabhupada's servant, and said, personal servant, he said, stop bothering Prabhupada about going to America because another devotee, Upendra, has already been given permission to come and meet Prabhupada when he arrives in America, in Boston, and do this service of massage. So I didn't think anything. I thought it was probably true. But I happened to be driving Prabhupada that same day. So Srila Prabhupada and I were alone in the car. So I asked him, Srila Prabhupada, Purushottam, that's his servant. Purushottam told me that Upendra is going to be giving you massage when you go back to America. So Prabhupada knew I wanted that service. So Prabhupada responded. You know how he responded? Any guesses? Utter silence. So I thought, yeah, it must be true. Because so then I thought, okay, it's true, I'm not going. So anyway, I have service here, and I reconciled myself to it. I surrendered to it, that I wasn't going to be going with Prabhupada back to America. And I accepted it. But the problem was that for me, the silence was still there. I spoke very clearly. So I wanted to break the silence, at the same time, let Srila Prabhupada know that I was resigned not to go with him. So I said, Srila Prabhupada, I never met Upendra. Is he a nice boy? And Prabhupada said, he turned to me in the car, not as nice as you. It went right in my heart. I thought, Prabhupada loves me. And actually, he did love us. He loves you too. Because he loves Krishna. Therefore, we're a particle of Krishna. He loves you. He loves everyone. He really does. He wrote every letter, your ever well-wisher. Doesn't that mean that he cares for you? Well-wisher? Every letter, your ever well-wisher. That was Prabhupada's position. Otherwise, how can he go? Leave his family, leave everything. Even in Vrindavan, they were saying, Swamiji, why are you going to the West? Sadhus don't go outside of India. Here, you're in Vrindavan, now you're a success. Still, the order of a spiritual master was there. He came. So much trouble. And without that, we wouldn't be here. And you wouldn't be here. This wonderful temple. Srila Prabhupada ki. Okay? Anyone else? You tell one more story? Yeah, we were alone in Hong Kong, and Prabhupada was coming. So there were other devotees there. They came from the Philippines and some other devotees from. So they were all together. There was about 8 or 10 devotees, no women, just men. And Prabhupada came with his servant. And so there was one devotee who had come from the Philippines. He was having a little difficulty. He was a sannyasi, but there was some rumors that he was. So Prabhupada wanted to encourage him. So he had him speak about his most difficult time because he was in Mayapur in 1974 when there was no buildings. Only Prabhupada's kutir was there. You know, you come in, it's on the left. That was the only building. So he was there and the flood came. And the water was coming up. He was telling us, right? Prabhupada asked him to tell. But he was telling us the difficulty he had. He was in the rafters, and the snakes were coming in the water. And so we were all appreciating. Wow, that was difficult. Then Prabhupada turned to me. What was your most difficult time in Krishna consciousness? And I told him, well, we were in Japan. We had this huge, big house, but you couldn't keep it warm. We had a kerosene heater, but if you stood in front of it, you'd be warm, but your back would be cold. So just a little austerities that we performed. So then I thought, Srila Prabhupada, I asked him, what was your most difficult time in Krishna consciousness? And suddenly, the whole mood changed. He became so sober. And he said in the gravest voice, you don't want to know about that. What did he say? Standing here talking, why don't I just go into the room? Okay, that's the end. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Show is over.